Welcome to the Hawksbeat Podcast. It's your boy E-Dub. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to the show on all the places where you get your podcasts. Now, let's get on with the show.
Like we always do about this time.
I was gonna rip his heart out, I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lex is a conqueror, no, I'm Alexander, he's no Alexander. I'm the best ever, there's never been anybody ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, there's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw, there's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I wanna eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? What is up? What is up? Happy Easter out there to everyone out there in Radio Land, man. Happy 404 day to all my AT aliens out there celebrating the greatness that is the city of Atlanta. Welcome, welcome, welcome into the Hawksbeat Podcast, the live episode, the live episode of our podcast. And thank you for checking this out, man. Thank you for checking this out. So stick around, engage with your boy. Let's have a little conversation. I thought it would be a good time to kind of just come back and talk a little bit about the road trip that the Hawks just returned from, kind of preview today's game versus the Warriors, and take a look at the playoff push. The Hawks are currently, as of today, as of right now, let me pull up the standings. They are currently sixth in the Eastern Conference. And you know that can change within a week. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But shout out to everybody in the chat and everybody tuning in. We're going to talk a little Hawks basketball today. Yeah, so currently 6th seed, above New York, above Boston. And we're at a standpoint now where if you have a good week of basketball, you can move up to the 4th seed. If you have a bad week of basketball, you can drop down to 10. So it's a lot of things going on, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about, again, the game today. And I just want to hear your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts about how do you feel? What are some of your takeaways from the road trip? What do you think that, some of the good, some of the bad, or just kind of what are your overall thoughts are as far as the road trip? Shout out to my guy, Jansen. I see checking in from our Twitter. Bogey's playing well. Yes, Boston said they're disappointing talking about Bogey. Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about Bogey going Bogey a little bit later in the program. But first things first, man, big part of what we do is on the social media front. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, on all of our social media platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can find us, and make sure you do that as well. Also, shout out to our sponsors. Make sure you check out Manscaped. Check out our Hawksbeat promo code. You get 20% off your order. Our guy Tillman's Trinkets and Things. Just go by hawksbeat.com and check out all our sponsors there. But I want to start with the road trip. I want to get your feelings about how the Hawks. What are some of your takeaways from the road trip? And I'll go ahead and I'll share mine with you. And if you want, you can just go in and get in there however you fit in. But I think that from a overall standpoint, you come away from the road trip 4-4. I believe that's a net positive. You go into the road trip, you had a 7-game win streak. You obviously weren't going to win all 8 of these games. I said before you went on the road trip, if you can grab 4 of them, you'll be fine. And that's exactly what they did. I didn't know which 4 you grabbed, but I think you learned a lot about this team on this road trip. The game against the Clippers, the game against the Lakers, every one of these games had their own personality, right? Every game's had their own personality, but you can't, and I know as fans is different. You can't live and die with every game. You can't live and die with every game. So, some games, you would have liked to get the Sacramento game, but you didn't get the Sacramento game. You got to just tip your cap and realize that wins in the NBA sometimes are hard to come by. They're hard to come by. And when you have a guy going like Darren Fox was against the Kings, and you have a guy get going like the Clippers against Luke Kennard, I think it was, like the backup point guard who came out of nowhere and just caught fire. That's the NBA, bruh. Like, that is the NBA. So the Hawks are in a good position, I believe. They're in a good position. The one caveat, I believe, is they are going to have to get healthy. Like, they're going to have to get healthy. And again, like my first takeaway from the road trip is it was a net positive because you went 4-4. You didn't sink to the bottom. You showed what you were. You showed that you had a lot of fight. So, I mean, it was a net positive. My second takeaway from the road trip is this. You're battle tested, right? You're battle tested now because, look, you battled some top tier teams out there. Now, granted, you played the Lakers without Bron and AD, and you played the Clippers with PG and with Kawhi. You played the Denver Nuggets. You played the Phoenix Suns. Those are top tier teams right there. Like, however you shake it, those are top tier teams. You prove that you can at least compete with them. But and I don't want you to lose your lose your your scruples when I say this, but you're not a top tier team right now. Like, you're not a top tier team right now. And here's the thing. It's okay that you're not a top tier team right now because you're banged up. You just haven't been together. When you look at teams like the Nuggets, specifically, like the Clippers, like the not necessarily the Clippers, but the Clippers are maybe a good example. But the Nuggets and the Suns, those are teams that when you watch them play, they move cohesively as one unit. They move cohesively as one unit, and they get the job done. They get the job done. And I think there was a fly in my house. Oh, that's not a fly. I think that is a bee or something. So I am if you see me like jump and like swat at this thing, then that's gonna be what it's gonna be. But listen, you're not a top tier team just yet. You are a good basketball team. I think you have the potential. To be a top tier team, and but you're not there yet. You're not there yet because you need your guys. You need your guys healthy, and you need to play for a certain amount of time before you become a top tier team, in my opinion. Battle tested. Also, winning the game without Trae Young and John Collins was big. I thought that was big for the guys on the back end, the supporting cast. I thought that was big for them. So that was a big thing. You're battle tested now. You guys know you can win without Trae. So hopefully when Trae and JC comes back, and I believe Trae will be playing today. I think John's going to be out another week. We'll talk about the injuries when we go over the games for the week. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick commercial break. On the other side, I just need to handle this thing real quick, but we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to just play a commercial or two, and then I'll be right back. All right, don't go nowhere. Welcome to the Hawksbeat Podcast. It's your boy E-Dub. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to the show on all the places where you get your podcasts. Now, let's get on with the show.
like we always do about this time.
I was gonna rip his heart out, I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lex is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander, he's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
All right. I wanted to give you another shot of the intro. I had some things going on in the house, right? So I had a bee come in my house, and I'm gonna show you the dead body. If you're watching this live, you can see the dead body. Let me try to get the dead body. Had a bee come in my house, and I had to kill that joint, man. Like, this is off script. It's off script. Had to kill that joint. But yeah, man, road trip. One of the takeaways that I'm talking about from the road trip is, again, you're battle tested. You proved that you can win without Trae Young. Record wise, it was a net positive. And the last thing that I got is the emergence of Bogdan Bogdanovic, man. And my guy Jansen mentioned it earlier. Shout out to my guy Jansen, does great work with his platform, shoots out a ton of content, does great work. Check him out. Road Warrior Bogey, man, on this road trip, 17 points a game, shot the ball extremely well. 52% from the field, 47% from three, was dishing out almost 4 assists. But the big thing to me, playing almost 30 minutes a game. So the minutes restriction is gone. You don't got to worry about that. Coach McMillan is using him a little bit differently than he was in the beginning. He's not just used as a spot-up shooter anymore. You see him going downhill. You see him creating a little bit more. I like what I'm seeing from Bogey, man. I really do. So to me, he was the most valuable player on this road trip, No disrespect to any of the other guys, Trey, JC, Clint, but we know what we're going to get from them. And their numbers are pretty stable of what they are. But Bogey came out, and once they put him in that starting lineup, man, my guy just took off and rolled, and that's where he belongs. He is a starter because he is one of the top 5 players on this ball club. He deserves to be starting. So, you still got Cam out, you still got DeAndre out. We could talk about defensive issues and all that later, but he has been an offensive spark plug for this Atlanta Hawks team. So it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better with him and Trey playing together, starting together, getting that chemistry. But again, welcome to Atlanta, Bogey. This is a road trip that where he really came out of his shell and really shot the ball well. So salute to Bogdan Bogdanovic, man. I thought he had a great road trip. Let's see. Top tier teams. Let's look at the game today. So today the Atlanta Hawks are playing the Golden State Warriors. They're playing the Warriors. Last time they played the Warriors, it didn't go too well for the Warriors. It didn't go too well for the Warriors, man. And John Collins, he had a game. My gosh, he had a game, man. And it was just nice to see, man, because Collins, he really went to work on those guys, man. Really worked to work. Season high, 38 points for him, 12 rebounds, and John Collins was just special. So it's going to be interesting to see how you attack this team now, with the reason being that you guys won last game was John Collins, and he's obviously not playing tonight. So, the guys are going to be taking his spot, Gallinari, Kongwu, whatever combination they go with, it's going to be different from just having John Collins out there. But it's going to be up to Nate to see how he attacks these guys and how, see if they can get a victory. But some of the injuries that they have, the last game they played the Warriors, they were without one Mr. Stephen Curry. It is my understanding that he is ready to roll. He's not on the injury report, and that he is a go today. So to me, man, like Steph is the guy who can put up 50 on you. But like if he puts up 50 and you limit everybody else, I think you're okay. I think you're okay. But that said, you still got to D him up. You still got to take it to him. You still got to be aggressive to him, and don't let him bring the fight to you. But I believe Steph's going to be playing today. Draymond Green is listed as questionable, and Eric Pascal is out for the Golden State Warriors. So those are the injury report for the Warriors. Looks like Steph's a go. If Draymond doesn't play, I don't know, he's been hampered. I think it was a finger or something. I'm not sure. But Draymond does so much for this Warriors team. So if he's out, that would be a big plus for the Hawks. So here's my thing. The Hawks have dealt with injuries all year long, but you can't really use that as an excuse because everybody's dealt with injuries. Steph's been in and out the lineup. Draymond's been in and out. They haven't seen Clay all season. And, those types of things just kind of happen, but you can't worry about, just injuries all the time. You just got to go out there and play with who you got. So for the Atlanta Hawks, the injuries are pretty much the same. You have Dunn and Cam that are going to be out. You have DeAndre Hunter, who is going to be out again for the 6th game after he missed those 23 games from an earlier injury. So he's going to be out today. And John Collins. So the word on John Collins is going to be out for a week. And in that week, the Hawks are going, let me see if I can pull up the schedule. So he's probably going to miss the next 3 games, maybe 4 games or so. And how do you adjust, right? How do you adjust without John Collins being on the floor? I think they did a great job in New Orleans adjusting, getting the victory. But it's going to be, that's one game. You're going to have to figure out how you're going to do this for a week. How are you going to step up? What kind of lineups are you going to use? So it's going to miss, obviously, today with the Warriors. Got the Pelicans on Tuesday. He'll be out for that game. Grizzlies on Wednesday. He'll be out for that game. The Bulls on Friday. And then I guess he'll be reevaluated. And that will have been the week. That would have been a week for him being out. So I haven't heard anything for the Hawks as far as timetable. They said a week. Thursday of this week will actually be a week. So hopefully, in best case scenario, maybe you get him back for the Bulls. I'm not sure. But it would be nice to get him back and see. You need to be full strength, because I talked a little bit earlier about a top tier team. You can't be a top-tier team if you're hurt. Period. You can't be a top-tier team if your guys aren't playing, you're not on the court, and they're not building that camaraderie. Because one thing that Phoenix is doing, it's not even so much that they have stars. And Chris Paul is definitely a Hall of Famer. Devin Booker is a star. But those guys are together. They are healthy. They are on the court together. And you can't keep piecemealing these lineups together and having guys go in and out the lineup and expect to be a top tier team. Like, you got to stay healthy. So I think the Hawks will do fine today. I think they will be energized from being home. And it's going to be interesting to see how Nate kind of adjusts the lineup without John Collins, how he works the Lou Williams role into things. And let me ask you guys this, and hit me up in the chat. What are your thoughts? And I know it's a small sample size, but your thoughts on Lou Will, what he has looked like as a Hawk. Obviously, the last game against New Orleans, 30 minutes, 19 points off the bench, 8 assists. Like, that was like old Lou. And I told y'all when he came here, I was like, look, man, we're not getting old Lou. We getting older Lou. and that's kind of that's the Lou Williams that you're getting. I don't think that you can expect 19 points a game from him every night and 8 assists, but when Trey's not there, it just showed that he had that capability of playing both guard positions. It just showed he had that, he's a combo guard. He can play off the ball, he can play on the ball. Like, he's a vet. That's what he does. That last game, man, it was really good to see Kevin Huerter go off and get his 24. Bogey got 26. I mean, it was just good to see everybody stepping in. Even the rookie, Okongwu, 11 points, 9 rebounds. Let me take just a brief moment to talk about the Rook. Y'all got to be easy on the rookie, man. Y'all been giving the rookie a hard time, and I'm telling you, y'all been giving the rookie a hard time. Everybody's kind of in favor of Nathan Knight getting those minutes, and I get it. Knight is the sexy pick. He dunks on folks, and he has energy. He has a great smile. But you sunk the money into Okongwu. You sunk the money into Okongwu, and Okongwu needs to get those minutes. He needs to get those reps. Okongwu was coming off an injury. He had no training camp. He had no summer camp. Okongwu needs to get those minutes. He needs to get those reps because they're not even really practicing. So how, if you are a college, in all intents and purposes, a college sophomore, because that's what he is. You're a college sophomore. You're coming to the NBA game. The NBA game is so quick. How are you going to learn? When are you going to learn? When are you going to make mistakes? You're going to do it in the game. You're going to do it in the game. So when you see a Okongwu out there fumbling and, not catching up, not being up to speed, that's what it is, man. He's learning. But, he has all the tools, man. Like, the guys upstairs, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a solid NBA player, I believe. But give the guy a little grace, man. Give the guy a little grace. Give him a little time. And I think that he will be fine, man. So, did I do keys to the game? I'm not sure. Keys to the game today is this. Warriors and Hawks, I think they're going to have good energy today. I think that you're going to be excited about being home. I don't think there's going to be much, lag or anything because you got home on Friday. It's Sunday. It's an evening game. Steph's going to be in the building, and hopefully Trey has worked out his injury issue. Trey likes the bright lights. He likes going up against those big guys, and so hopefully Trey will have a good game. But I think, to me, they need to find that synergy. What I mean by that is you can't just have Trae Young go off. Like, it has to be a collective. And I think sometimes the Hawks, they fall into that hero ball thing where it's just like, okay, Trey comes down and he does what he does, and he jacks up a shot that you're just like, ooh, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Don't jack up that shot. But, I think that Trey needs to work on trusting his teammates a little bit more. I understand you're the alpha dog. I understand you want the big shots, and I respect that. Like, I respect that. I respect the fact that you like the big shots. I think you need to trust the offense a little bit better, Let's get some ball movement, right? Like, and especially when the game's coming down to the end. Let's get some ball movement. You're going to get the ball back. You're going to get the ball back. I promise you're going to get the ball back. But let's get some ball movement. You're going to get the ball back. You can still be the alpha dog, but let's move the ball around a little bit. I think the ball kind of stick. I thought the ball in the last game they played, well, mainly against the Spurs, I thought the ball kind of stuck a little bit down the stretch, but, they still got to win. So what do I know? I could still be talking. But, yeah, man, I think that the Hawks have to play that, show that team cohesion to get a victory for today. So, let's take another look at the week that is Atlanta Hawks basketball. And again, make sure you're following us on our Twitter and our YouTube. We're going to have, since these are home games, we're going to be able to try as best we can to get you some content as far as coach press conferences, player press conferences after the game, whatever. And if I get that, I'll just shoot. I'll throw it on my YouTube page. I may tweet it out a couple times, but make sure you get that, man, because those interviews, they give you perspective. They give you perspective on what coach is thinking, what the players are thinking. So make sure you check those out. as well. So you got the Warriors today. You get a day off. Then you have a back-to-back with the Pelicans and the Grizzlies. Pelicans is going to be a tough game because they're going to be mad. Like, teams don't forget. Like, they're going to be mad because y'all took it to them last game. They're going to come in they're going to come in your house and they're going to be upset. So don't think it's going to be a walkover because you beat them last time. The Grizzlies, I don't really know what to make of the Grizzlies. They're a 500 team like the Hawks. Very similar team. They don't have much shooting on that team. They kind of go as Ja Morant goes. So that's going to be a good one as well. You got the Bulls, a new look Bulls team on Friday night with the addition of Vucevic. That's a guy who always eats against the Hawks. So you're going to have to watch out for that one. So they have a busy week coming up as far as teams coming into their house. But I think that they'll be fine because sleeping in your own beds, you get to see your family, your home cooking and all that stuff. So I think they'll be in a good place, man. So that is the week that is. Just taking another look at the standings. Hawks are currently 6 on the standings, and they are 25 and 24. Right there with Boston, who's 25 and 23. Miami's got the 5 seed, 26. New York's at 25 and 25. Like, all these teams are just bunched together. So again, like, good week, you can get up to 4. Bad week, you can drop down to 10. So it's very crucial that you win these games that you are supposed to win, right? You win these games you're supposed to win. And no letdowns, man. No letdowns. So if a team is coming in here wounded, you got to take care of that wounded dog. But that is the standings. As far as the playoff push, you have, I believe that somebody asked me, like, what do I believe the final seeding will be for this team? I can't really say that as of yet. I think that they will probably land in that 6th or 7th spot. Don't know if they're good enough to be that 4 seed yet because they're still dealing with the injury thing. Miami's still very good. Charlotte's still very good, even without the Melo kid. But I think the 6, 7 range is kind of where you're looking at. But again, you got to take care of your business. You got to win games that you're supposed to win. And you have to, no letdowns, and try to be competitive against the top tier teams, the Phillies, the Brooklyns, the Milwaukees, and all that. So, so it's going to be interesting. Tip off tonight for the Warriors is at 7:30, I believe. Coach will meet the media at 5:45. So if you're on Twitter, make sure you follow us, and we'll tweet out, anything that Nate has, any pressing news, any injury news, and we'll get that out to you as well. But just wanted to come on real quick, just kind of recap the road trip, preview the Warriors, talk a little bit about the week that's coming up at the Hawks. Make sure you're following us on all of our platforms. Take a look at our sponsors at Manscaped. Use the promo code Hawksbeat, 20% off your order and free shipping. Hawksbeat, it's all one word. Use that in the promo code. Check out our guy from Dow Family Fitness, our guy Tillman's Trinkets and Things. Go by the website, man. We got all the banners up there, and go by and check that out. So, like we say every time, man, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. So, if you don't know him, you need to find him and show him love because that is all he is showing you. LOVE, love. We out. Peace. Welcome to the Hawksbeat Podcast. It's your boy E-Dub. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to the show on all the places where you get your podcasts. Now, let's get on with the show.
Like we always